I've always been very insecure about my body. I have not viewed it the way that the Lord sees it. I didn't really think it was attractive. I always remember from middle school, high school, even elementary school into college, just being really insecure about how I looked and thinking that I had to look or feel a certain way. Because the ideal woman is to be skinny and fit, or really I feel like skinny is a huge word and really common, where if you a compliment to be given is to be skinny, and I was never that. I decided that I was going to like try and lose weight, but it slowly progressed into an eating disorder. So I ate like eggs and vegetables and meats and things like that, and then just started really obsessing over every calorie, carb, everything that I took into my body, and compared it to whether or not I worked out, or not. And if I didn't work out, then that means I had to eat way less that day, or if I did work out, I needed to eat more, and so on. But eventually it got to the point where I like would start skipping meals because it was just too exhausting to think about. Like, it's just easier to not eat. So I didn't. And I was like, that was a way easier decision than have to deal with all of these thoughts and like have this inner battle. I would get compliments or people would say things to me, and I would just be like, you have no idea what's going on inside of my head right now. I moved to Charlotte for a year, and I worked at a men's homeless shelter. And while I was there, I was like sexually assaulted like 3 or 4 times. And I remember leaving there feeling like even worse than I did before. And so I was praying one night, and I was like begging the Lord. I was like, please, God, just like soften my heart, heal me of these things, like make me broken, because I want the gospel to be fresh to me. And I was asking these specific things, and I asked him to make me love him like Mary Magdalene, because I love Mary Magdalene, and the way she followed him, and how she was set free. I was talking to him about how I never cried and things like that. And so the next day I woke up crying. Like I just woke up with tears in my eyes, and I was like, what? And I was very sad. And I was like, what's going on, Lord? Like, why am I crying? And I just remember feeling this burden for myself, for myself, like my own sin. And um, and then I woke up the next day, and I cried the next day. And then I ended up crying for like 11 days straight for different things. Some days it was my own sin, some days I was empathetic for someone else. I was just so happened to be reading through Jeremiah during that month, which is the weeping prophet. And I'm a prophet, and I was weeping that week, which was super funny. And I was reading through chapter 2, and it brought me to this part in that chapter that says, like, what flaw did you find in your father that you would leave him and you would depart from him and go your own way? And when I read that, it just hit me like nothing before. I literally just like started crying, sobbing. I literally was on the floor in my dining room because I had understood like what had been happening, that I had been rejecting God. I had been rejecting myself and him. Like, I was telling God, like, there's a flaw in you, so I'm going to depart from your ways, and I'm going to depart from what is true. And I was under deception. The reason why I kind of told the story about me crying, and I think the reason why he had that happen during that week, is because I don't think I would have been healed from that in that moment without being broken over my own sin, because that's what healed me, was my repentance, because I realized like I was allowing this, like I was rejecting God, and that was a sin that I was committing. The reflection of my heart was I was amazed by God, and I don't know if I ever loved him to the extent that I did that week ever before in my life, because I was experiencing freedom.